How am I doing? Good for the most part. I don't know how to answer. How am I doing? Because you think about that word. How are you doing? And then you go through a range of different thoughts, like what category. And that's why I was like, okay, my love life. I ain't stressing that. I mean, there's somebody that I care about, and I hope we align. But I'm loving what's being built as far as what a friendship look like to us. But like when you ask that question, how am I doing? Just like going through the Rolodex of how am I doing and what category I'm great in and not so great in and in between. And so it was more me thinking, allow me thinking in the moment, like, how am I really doing? Pretty okay. Need to have more discipline in certain areas when it comes to like saving money. But other than that, I'm pretty good. I'm pretty good. Make sure that you stand on it because sometimes there's no coming back from certain things you say or how you react. So that's what I mean by control. In that aspect, like only worry about what I can control, which is myself, for the most part, and holding myself accountable. I have this thing where like I don't allow people to like trick me out of my seat or really get me to that point. I'd rather just remove myself one time, and that's me controlling the environment. That's me controlling in the space. I just remove myself. 'Cause I'm not trying to go back and forth. No matter if you're a relative, coworker, whatever, like, just remove myself. As I got older, I guess I just want to get ahead of things. Like, I don't want to feel hurt. I don't want to feel pain. So let me get ahead of it before I can feel it. Like, that's my defense mechanism where, like, I try to foresee things. I try to play out all these different possibilities of how it could go. And I'm like, okay, well, this probability, that probability. Okay, let me just remove myself. Let me get ahead of it. Or let me ask that question, and I guess for me it feels good. But somebody was just like, well, as far as my growth, that can stunt me in some areas, and I can see the point, but I don't like to feel anything that's discomfort. I don't like that feeling. So I try to like get ahead of it as much as I can, and while I'm getting ahead of it, I'm trying to make sure that it's not affecting the next person, but sometimes I end up affecting the next person. Allow things to play out. See it for what it is. Like, don't go these 10 steps ahead. Like, let's enjoy this step and then that step and that step. So I think in that aspect, it can stunt my growth because of my control factor, my factor of not wanting to feel and, let me get them before they get me. And get them doesn't mean like retaliate or do something petty, meaning let me just run, or let me just, fall back, or let me just ask these 10 questions over this one thing in my brain. So yeah, it can make you, it definitely can. Like I said, just not enjoying the moment, not enjoying the process, and not letting things take its due process. So it can be. Because that control, man, like, and once again, it's like I don't try to control others. It's like I really just try to control myself. I try to like foresee things, and yeah. And I think we're taught that love is this thing that got to be thrown through the rinse cycle. No. Love is a choice. Like you see something, your eyes receive it, your brain takes it, and like, I like it, I don't like it. Okay, then you realize you love this thing, and if you love this thing, this person, this thing, whatever, you try your hardest to not cause the pain. Yes, we're human, nobody's perfect, but then even within that, okay, let me do the work. Or before you fall in love with that thing, check yourself. Like, do I like the idea of this thing? Or do I like what they can do for me? Or, even if this job, like, okay, I'm going to take a city job. And you think about all the benefits, but then there's other things that come with it. Sleepless nights, long hours, have a social life. So I think, we tell ourselves love is pain. I said, if you love something, we need to take a moment and think about what you really love. What do you love about it? You see a woman or you see something like, do I like this person? Am I in a space to receive that person, to receive their love, to nurture it? And if I am, I'm not saying there'd be little discomfort, but not I had to cheat on you 10 times to realize I love you. Or she had to steal from me. Like, no, like, once again, the little discomfort, we're like, maybe, the way we think about things, the way we might, socially go about things. But yeah, love should not hurt. Love should not hurt. And we need to change that narrative. I only have myself to blame if I stay in that situation. And I'm also like, okay, let me just stay in it. And it's happening. I can't stay in it again. And it's happening. And I'm like, when it really happens, boom, it blows up in my face. I'm like mad at myself because I foresee this happening. And I stayed. And I'm just like, because I also look at other people's, I'm more of I learn based on observation. So if I see in your relationship, I'm analyzing it. Oh, you didn't ask this question when you were courting. Or you overlooked this. You overstayed that. Oliver don't want to be that. I do not want to be that. So I look at things in life. I look at, just how we move and how do we end up in these situations. And if we just nipped it in the bud now, like it's like you planting the seed. This is a little seed and it grows into a little plant. But then now you got a tree of headache. And then you got to chop it. Now it's extra energy to chop it down. But what you're chopping down is all the good and bad time spent. So I don't want it. We are all made up of our parents' DNA. So some of the things we do, it's not even of our own. It's like almost like an invisible string is pulling you. Because there's so many things about me that when I look at my father or talk to him, I was like, this is where I get it from. And I hate it. The delusion, the excuses. I'm like, and I fight that. I'm just like, it's almost like a bad drug addiction, like this bad DNA, this bad generational curse has been passed down. And so I'm an individual fighting my own personal things, and then I got my father's DNA, and I'm just like, so I would say that has impacted a lot of how I show up in my day-to-day. And it impacted me to realize that this is what I'm doing, and also realize how can we fight this. There was a scene where he's driving the car, and he thought he drove the car so well. He thought he drove it so great, parked it, but in reality, because he was on drugged up, the car was messed up, door was falling off the hinge. It was really bad. So that's my father. In his bubble, he's a great dad. He likes to use the Bible scripture to his own understanding. And he pick and choose things to this self-loathe and not being a reality. And that was kind of why I say he's in his bubble, like Bubble Boy, but more so like Wolf of Wall Street. And I'm just like trying to have conversation with this man. I'm like, this man is delusional. So with that happiness DNA and he gave me, I kind of was like that at one point where like in my dating, I would only remember the good. And I remember talking to my ex and she was just like, yeah, we had those times, but I also was uncomfortable in this. And I was like, I don't remember that. I more tend to see things from a woman's point of view versus a man's point of view. I tend to lean towards the women's side than the guy's side. So, and it wasn't that I was told this way, it's just what I've watched. And not only just in my household, just like other family members and other friends. And I always end up talking to women because women like to talk. Men don't really like to talk. Men aren't vulnerable. And I think early on, I just always been a unicorn where, I'm going to tell you how I feel. I wear my emotions on my sleeve. And I feel like, I think just being around women and hearing their stories and seeing what they're going through, I said, I won't be that guy. I would try my best to not be that guy. I would try my best to be understanding. And even if I do fall short, hey, I'm going to try. That's where I'm different from my dad, accountability, which he lacks and still is to this day. So it's like, I'm fighting this, like, and I'm named after my father. My mom is a jokester. So like I have Oliver Senior DNA in me, but then the Oliver Junior that is woke and want to combat that. So it's like this. So the jovialness is just who I am. It's just who I am. It's my DNA. I can't turn it off. I do have moments I just sit to myself, but I cannot stay mad, stay angry, because it's such a heavy, heavy feeling being mad. And, once again, I'm more earth sign, so I'm always thinking about things like, okay, I could be mad, but for why? And how long? And what does it do staying mad? So I just take it with a grain of salt, learn from the moment, and then on to the next, because there's a group of people with good energy that I'm going to be around. I can't harp on that. I'll address it. Let's talk about it. But I got to keep going, man. Life is short. At that era in my time, there was no empathy, sympathy for women. There was no hearing her side. It was always me, 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 me. So it wouldn't be a clash like we're about to fight, but it'd be more a clash of the minds. Okay, so what about the woman, or what part did you play? Or, is there something else you're leaving out? The fact that I'm challenging and not just, on some bro code or homeboy code. I ain't saying women are perfect. I ain't saying men are perfect, but I'm hearing your story, sir. There has to be another side. There has to be something that you've done. So it was a clash, but never to blows, or people say I'm always simping. That came later on in time. I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm not simping. It's just this is what I feel. So eventually, for me, what I did with I have an intuition, man, a very strong intuition. So I would just have conversation with guys and see where their mind is at. And I'm like, okay, this is a sensible brother. And I started seeing guys do open up. Guys do have, I know men have emotion. I am a man. But to see guys that are bigger stature, just different from me, I was like, okay, you guys do have emotions. You're, speaking on it. And then when I would ask them questions about their upbringing and relationships, I'm meeting in this time, men are opening up and more vulnerable. And to me, that makes you a real strong guy if you could be that vulnerable and feel it and wear it. I used to feed my soul with watching a lot of porn, right? And I would watch it. And I'm like, okay, and I'm masturbating. I was like, didn't really feel as satisfied as I thought I would. So anyway, I continued doing it. And I'm just feeding myself with that. And I remember, it's gonna be funny. I remember it was one day, and I found myself masturbating for the fourth time, and a voice in my head said, "Put the dick down. What are you doing? Go get a hobby, go read a book, just put it down." And I laughed, and from that day, I haven't masturbated in 3 years. And I felt good to have that control, because being a slave to some of these feelings isn't good. It's that's also why I don't like falling in love all the time, because you become that person, and then when they leave, it's almost like kryptonite, and it's not working out, so you want it back, you want it back, you want it back. A lot of sleepless nights. Oh my God, and also I know that's not healthy, but that's also was my defense mechanism. If I fall in love and it don't work out, I'm gonna be like how I was with the last girl. And man, so when I had the power to not masturbate, and I don't miss it. I really don't miss it. And I look at porn now, here and there, and I have the mental capacity to not get hard. I'm I can watch it, like I'm watching a movie. I go, okay, cool. Or I'm looking at art, and I have that control in my brain to not be aroused. It's like a diet, right? We consume all these things, and not only food-wise, but what we watch, the music we listen to, things we eat, the groups of people we surround ourselves around, and then there comes a point when the bandwidth is too heavy for your mental and spiritual self and physical self, and there will be signs. And I think the biggest thing was being obedient to it. It's if you believe in God or what you believe in, and they're speaking to you or showing you signs, and you just say, you know what, I gotta listen. And that's what it was. I think that was the biggest thing, me listening, being stubborn as I can be. The biggest thing was just listening and trusting the process and feeling my feels, and also putting myself around people that is going to hold me accountable, and I'm not giving backlash. Or if I did, it's just because of habit, but then I would come back and you're right, I apologize. So I think those were the steps of just trusting the process, leaning into it, listening to the voices in my head and my heart, just like, nah, don't do that. Don't do that. I know there's more to unlock. And I feel like once I unlock that and get out of my way, more blessings can come, more opportunities can come. I know the only thing in my way is me. And that's a beautiful thing and a hard thing, because the beautiful thing is that, it's nobody tricking me out of my seat. Nobody's pulling these strings. But the hard thing, it is me. This is something that I have to actively say and work on. And that's the challenge, because, I'm big on comfort. And, comfort, and it's not good because you have these bad habits. So just trying to break these habits, that's why I want the therapy. I want to unlock more for myself, for me, and then I could be the better version of me. And if I ever get in a relationship, if I ever become a father, if I ever become a husband, but I really want to unlock these things for me, and also then around the people around me. Just letting go. I want to be a host of showing you that, you're on along with this journey with me while I figure these things out in real time, and just I'm lending myself and being vulnerable. So I see the beauty in community. I see the beauty in helping someone, and I love that feeling. That's the actual service. Like, it just feels good to help someone. It just feels good to know that. And I don't want nothing from it. Well, I do. I want whatever I help you with for you to succeed. So that's what I want. And a bottle of tequila. Reposado. But, yeah, it just feels good, man, to just... And I think this has just always been my calling. So it just fell on my lap, man. And, it just fell on my lap. Can't do this alone. I do believe, I love friendship, man. I love genuineness. Can't do this thing alone, man. I don't want to do it alone. I really don't. I really don't. This is who I am. I'm untouchable. I know who I am. I know the effects that I have on folks. I'm comfortable in my skin. I'm comfortable to see a gay guy and give him a high and a hug. I'm not gay, I'm not bi, but it's like I'm comfortable. I can sit in any room with anyone. I love it, man. I love it, and it's been this thing where it's a domino effect for other people to be genuine, other people to be unapologetic, for other people to just be like, this is me, I'm gonna show up as me, dress like me, talk like me, and you can't tell me nothing. So I love the effect that I have on others with that. They're like, Oliver, you just move how you want. I say, yeah, because I'm not disrespecting nobody. I'm not boastful. I can come in a party and sit in the corner and I'm having a good time, or I can interact, but like, man, this feels good, man. This form, not the final form, but this form it took some time to get here, man. It took some time, but it feels good. Strive to be a really solid, genuine human being. It never stops. Be honest with yourself, so you can be honest with others. Be patient. Listen more than you speak. And be mindful of your intentions. Just because you didn't intend to do something doesn't still mean it doesn't hurt or doesn't bother someone. It's not my intentions to hurt you, but you did. So be intentional. And always lead with love. That's it.